Hey guys, it's Melblade5, and for any of you that actually watched my top 10 favorite video game franchises, you will know that I had something special planned for the Pokemon series, and this is it. This was originally going to be a top 20 list, but there were so many honorable mentions, so I couldn't help make this a top 30 list. I will be counting down my favorite Pokemon from generations 1 to 6, as Gen 6 is the current generation at this point in time, so if there was a Generation 7, none of those Pokemon will be on this list. Also, there won't be any legendary Pokemon on this list because it would have made this list even harder to make, and I want to save them for their own list. Also, I'm not a competitive Pokemon player, so I won't be bringing up tournaments or any sort of competitive play in this list. But before we get to the list itself, I would like to go through some honorable mentions. Abomasnow, because I like its name and design, it can learn some very powerful moves, and I find it underrated because of its type. Charizard, for reasons similar to Abomasnow's, and because it can learn a wide variety of moves, and I like playing as Charizard in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, 3DS, and Wii U. Leafeon and Glaceon, because they are my favorite evolutions from their designs alone, which I think makes them stand out. Arceus, because it's fast and really helped me get through some tough battles in Pokemon White. Armaldo, because of its design, typing, and high attack stat. Zebstrika, because it's ridiculously fast and has Motor Drive for its ability, which is an awesome ability that increases its already insane speed if it's hit by an electric type move. And Lantern, because of its design, wide variety of moves to learn, and I find it underrated. So with that out of the way, let's start the list. Okay, so even though I'm only at number 30, I want to say that one of my two favorite types is Dragon. I'm always a big fan of the designs of most Dragon types, and in most Pokemon games, I have a Dragon type on my team. And I see a lot of people on YouTube do the same. One Dragon type I find underrated is Altaria. Even though it doesn't look like a dragon, I'm a big fan of Altaria's design. I think Altaria looks very majestic and pretty, and I love the combination of white and blue, and those wings look so comfy that you probably want to use them as a pillow. Let's look at Altaria in battle. Altaria is a special tank, as it has a high special defense stat, which is useful against a lot of bosses, and Altaria can learn moves like Dragon Dance and Cotton Guard to boost its stats. Also, Altaria can learn a lot of great Dragon Flying type moves, such as Aerial Ace, Sky Attack, and Dragon Claw. Overall, I think Altaria deserves much more attention, especially with the fact that it's not hard to get one, unlike other Dragon types. Just catch a Swablu and raise it to level 35, and with the fact that it got Mega Evolution and Omega Ruby and Sapphire. Speaking of underrated Pokemon, I've always thought Ice-type Pokemon underrated. I'm not sure why they're underrated, but regardless, I'm sort of a fan of Ice types and their designs. But there is one Ice type in particular that I really like, and shows that Ice isn't a bad type. And the Ice type is Mamoswine. Mamoswine is a beast. While its dual combination of Ice and Ground gives several more weaknesses than a normal Ice type, this thing shouldn't be taken lightly. Like its appearance would tell you when you first look at it, Mamoswine is very strong and can learn some insanely powerful moves like Double Edge, Earthquake, and Stone Edge, which are backed up by its very high attack stat. And Mamoswine has a high HP stat as well, which means that weaker attacks and non-super effective attacks will not reduce its HP near half. Mamoswine was very helpful in taking out a lot of Flying, Ground, and Dragon types for me in Pokemon Platinum. Mamoswine needed an evolution, and it definitely got a good one. Now, if only more people would use it. I'll tell you now, while I do like the inclusion of the fairy type to balance the games, I'm not a big fan of the new fairy type's designs, except for Clef Keys because I think it's hilarious. I mean, it's just a bunch of keys. I just think a lot of them look like dolls or plushies that a little girl would have in her bedroom. However, some older Pokemon will give them the fairy type, and one of them that I do like is Gardevoir. Gardevoir is the Alakazam of Generation 3. The first stage in its evolution line is hard to get, but its final evolution is very powerful. Gardevoir has a high special attack and special defense, the latter of which is better than Alakazam's. Not only does this make Gardevoir a force to be reckoned with, but Gardevoir can learn a wide variety of strong special attacks, especially when it's given a fairy type. Examples of these moves are Psychic, Shadow Ball, Moonblast, and Thunderbolt. And Gardevoir gets even stronger in its Mega Evolution. Also, I like Gardevoir's design, which looks like some kind of ghostly female dancer, even though there are male Gardevoirs. The only thing that bothers me about Gardevoir is all the actual fan art of it on the internet. It's really creepy, especially the fact that, as I said earlier, they're a male Gardevoirs. Ampharos. Now, one of the key factors that makes me like a Pokemon is its design, but I don't know why I like Ampharos' design. Maybe it's its body shape, maybe it's like the yellow stripe pattern, maybe it's because yellow's my favorite color, I don't know, I just do. Police design aside, another reason why I like Ampharos so much is that it was very helpful for me in Pokemon Soulsilver because of its high special attack stats, which gets even bigger when it Mega Evolves, and its ability to learn a lot of great non-electric specials and status moves such as Confuse Ray, Power Gem, Cotton Guard, Signal Beam, Light Screen, and Dragon Pulse. In my opinion, Ampharos is one of the best electric types in the entire series and one of the best Generation 2 Pokemon. If you are a fan of electric types and haven't used an Ampharos, I highly recommend you do. Oh, and when it Mega Evolves, it becomes an electric dragon type, which gives it extra points in my book. I really can't think of anything else to say about why I like this Pokemon. As I said earlier on, one of my two favorite Pokemon types is Dragon, and my other favorite is Grass. And our first Grass type on this list is Sceptile. Sceptile is awesome! It has an awesome design of a lizard with a fern-like tail, nodes on its back, which is a reference to how certain plants have nitrogen stored in nodes on their roots, and it has incredibly sharp leaves on its arms, which it can turn into blades when it uses Leaf Blade, which, back in Gen 3, was it and its pre-evolution Grovile's signature move. Another reason why I love Sceptile is it's incredibly fast. Unless you're up against an Electrode, Aerodactyl, or any Pokemon like that, Sceptile will almost always go first. Also, Sceptile can learn various types of moves other than Grass, such as Normal, Flying, Ground, Bug, and even Dragon-type moves. And Mega Sceptile is even better with an incredibly high special and speed stat, which gives it the highest special attack and speed stats of all Grass-type Pokemon, and, like Mega Ampharos, it becomes part Dragon-type. Yes, it's a combination of both my favorite types. What else do we need to say about Sceptile? Sceptile is the reason why I almost always pick Trico when I play the Gen 3 games, even though I do like Swampert. This spot actually goes to two Pokemon, because I can't decide which I like more than the other. These two Pokemon are Drapion and Scolipede. Let's start with Drapion. I love Drapion's design. It looks like a complete badass, and I'm a fan of arachnids, even though it only has 4 legs. Drapion has a great typing of Poison and Dark, which makes it only weak to ground, and Drapion can learn some of the best Poison-type moves such as Poison Fang and Cross Poison. Along with a high defense stat, Drapion is not a pushover, unless you hit it with a ground-type move. Now on to Scolipede. Just like Drapion, I love Scolipede's design. It's a giant centipede, and it can learn some of the best Poison-type moves, including my favorite Poison-type move, Venoshock, which does double the damage if the target is poisoned. And it can learn Mega Horn, which I had it use to destroy everything weak to Bug in Pokemon White 2. Also, despite being over 8 feet tall, Scolipede is very fast. Even though Scolipede has more weaknesses than Drapion, it is not a pushover either. I definitely recommend these two if you want to use a Poison type. Crocodile. Do we need to explain why I like this Pokemon? Okay, fine. Crocodile is an awesome Pokemon. Just look at it. It shows you shouldn't mess with it because it's a badass. Crocodile is a ground and dark type, which are both types that I'm a fan of mainly because of their designs, just like Crocodile. Crocodile has a high attack stat, which makes quick work of Pokemon that don't have high defenses. The majority of ground and dark type moves are physical, and every attacking move that it learns from leveling up is physical, except for one, which definitely benefits the high attack stat. Hell, it can even learn Outrage, you know, one of the most powerful dragon-type moves. Combine that with a lot of sneaky tricks that dark-type Pokemon and a lot of their moves are known for, and you have a great Pokemon that can make quick work of trainers and bosses. Now, in this list so far, you have found out that I'm a fan of Grass, Dragon, Ground, and Dark types. but I'm also a fan of steel types because of a lot of their designs, and I'm sort of a fan of bug types because I like quite a few of the designs as well. So what happens if we mix the two together and give it a badass design? You get Scizor. I freaking love Scizor's design. It just looks so cool with its red metal body and its big claws. Because of Scizor's typing of bug and steel, it only has one weakness, which is fire. Scizor also has both a high attack and defense stat along with moves that benefit said stats like Sword Stance, Iron Defense, Iron Head, X-Scissor, and Bullet Punch. Also, in X and Y, Scizor got a Mega Evolution which boosts its already high attack and defense stat, and gives it clamps that look like they could crush someone's head, making it look even more badass. My only problem with Scizor is that to get free evolution Cypher to evolve into Scizor, you need to trade it while holding a metal coat. And since I don't have many people to trade with, I have rarely been able to use Scizor. But if you get a chance to get a Cypher holding a metal coat in the trade, take it! And then now for another steel type I really like. Skarmory. I can't really say much about why I like Skarmory so much because the design practically does everything. It's a metal bird! That's one of the coolest ideas for a Pokemon ever! Skarmory is a physical tank. It takes barely any damage from physical attacks and only has two weaknesses, being fire and electric. Also, in Pokemon Emerald, I used Skarmory on my team, and I had an amazing strategy where I taught it Toxic. Because Skarmory is a physical tank and has decent speed, even though it's animated that it can fly speeds over 100 miles per hour, so it will be able to hit an opponent with Toxic 9 times out of 10. And because Skarmory is immune to being poisoned because it's a steel type, the ability Synchronize has no effect on it. This strategy made Skarmory one of the best members of my team in Pokemon Emerald, and helped me defeat a lot of annoying bosses Pokemon. Zoroark. The main reason why I like Zoroark is because of its design. It's a black, gray, and red bipedal wolf-like creature which is based off kitsunes, which are shape-shifting foxes from Japanese folklore. I find Zoroark's design very cool and intimidating. Zoroark has a high attack, special attack, and speed stats, which can make Zoroark a very dangerous Pokemon if used correctly. What I also love about Zoroark is its signature ability, Illusion. Like kitsunes, Zoroark has the ability to shapeshift. The illusion ability makes Zoroark disguise itself as another Pokemon in your party, which gives you the potential to set up traps with Zoroark, like tricking your opponents and then following up with a super effective move. I don't know if Zoroark is banned from competitive tournaments, but I would like to see some competitive players use Zoroark and see what kind of crazy shit they can do with it.